Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Wilder versus Szpilka conference call. If you'd like to ask a question, please press star one. I would now like to turn the call over to your host, Mr. Lou DiBella, and you may begin.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the conference call, final conference call for the Showtime Championship Boxing Show, January 16th of this new year, 2016, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. The show will begin at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Showtime. 7 p.m. Pacific Time. It's a World Championship, Heavyweight Championship doubleheader. These are the first two heavyweight title fights in over 100 years in Brooklyn on the same night. It's 115 years since the last heavyweight title fight in Brooklyn, and there'll be two on the same night on January 16th on Showtime. The first bout will be for the vacant IBF Heavyweight World Championship between Charles Martin and the highest-ranked contender in the IBF, former Olympic bronze medalist Vyacheslav Glazkov. The main event will be Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight champion of the world, the WBC heavyweight champion, defending his title against the very colorful and exciting Artur Szpilka. We're going to start with the first fight. Actually, we're going to start with Stephen Espinoza, the man who runs Showtime Boxing and who's put together this great card for us. And Stephen, will you say a few words? Stephen?
Thank you, Lou. Thanks, Lou. As some of you know, 2016 represents the 30th anniversary of Showtime Championship Boxing. The very first fight at Showtime was telecast in March 10th, 1986, Marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Mugabe. And we've had a variety of high-profile fighters and fights since. And to kick off our 30th anniversary year, I can't think of a better way to do it than at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn with a doubleheader of heavyweight title fights. There's going to be some explosive action. We have some really entertaining, interesting personalities. In fact, I can't wait to see what the rest of this call holds. So I'll turn it back over to you, Lou.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm going to start with the man who's the highest, the leading available contender in the IBF, and he is going to be fighting Charles Martin for the IBF Heavyweight Championship. Tsar Glazkov, 21-0 with one draw, 13 KOs. From the Ukraine originally, fighting out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's a 2007 silver medalist at the World Amateur Boxing Championships, a 2008 Olympic bronze medalist at super heavyweight. Manager extraordinaire Igis Klimas is on the call, and he will do the translating for Tsar Glazkov. Glazkov has wins over Tor Hamer, Garrett Wilson, Thomas Adamek, Derek Rossi, and Steve Cunningham. His draw came against then unbeaten Malik Scott. And I'll turn it over to Igis. Would Tsar like to make a statement to start? And by the way, Tsar is promoted by Main Events, and Kathy Duva, Main Events, will be obviously co-promoting this event with us, this fight with us. Igis, Tsar?
Yeah. Hi, hello everybody. This is Vegas, manager of Vyacheslav Glazkov. We're very happy to have a title shot for the world title, IBF. We wanted to thank our promoter, Main Event, for doing such a good job for bringing Glazkov to this opportunity. I am very fortunate to represent Mr. Glazkov, which is we've been doing already. I've been doing it for 4 years, and this is a big shot for him to become a world title. Let me introduce to you Vyacheslav Glazkov, the contender for the IBF title. Slava, Skoristita.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is Vyacheslav Glazkov. This is a big opportunity for me and a big chance with the world champion fight.
Thank you, Vyacheslav. Charles Martin, 22 wins, no losses, one draw with 20 KOs. Born in St. Louis, Missouri, from Carson, California. Charles is a huge physical specimen at 6'5". The 29-year-old southpaw knockout artist was an accomplished amateur. He won the 2012 National PAL Championship, was a National Golden Gloves runner-up in 2012 also. Charles is something of an unknown commodity to a lot of people. He is the number 3 ranked IBF contender and is looking forward to his opportunity and what he thinks is going to be a knockout win against Vyacheslav Glazkov. Charles, would you like to say a few words, please?
Yes. I'm so thankful to be in this position and blessed, to get a world title shot, and that's what all the boxers, dream of, and it's finally becoming a reality to me. And I'm not going to let anything stand in front of me of receiving this IBF title. So I will be prepared on January 16th. I'm up in high altitude right now. I'm in the snow. I'm running in the snow. I'm getting grimy with it, and it's going to all show in the ring.
Thank you, Charles. And Charles is promoted by Warriors Boxing.
Warriors
in Florida, so they will also be a co-promoter of this title fight. I'm going to open it up now to questions for Vyacheslav Glazkov and Charles Martin.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star 1. Again, if you have any questions, please press star 1. Our first question comes from Dan Raphael. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Hey, Charles, you there?
Yep.
Hey, good to talk to you today. Charles, I had a couple of questions for you. First of all, I'm interested to know just what your thoughts were. We all knew that this was a possible fight that was going to be ordered once the IBF went ahead and stripped Tyson Fury for making the decision to not fight Glazkov in the mandatory fight and take a rematch with Vladimir Klitschko instead. So you were scheduled to fight on December 12th against Dominic Breazeale on one of the PBC cards on NBC. And I'm wondering, when that came up, I want to know from your point of view, how hard of a decision was it to pull out of that fight, and did you struggle with that at all, or was it sort of a slam dunk, hey, I've got this opportunity just a few weeks later, a month later, to fight for one of these belts that I'm going to go ahead and withdraw from that bout? Can you take me through that decision-making process?
Oh, man, yeah, I'm glad you asked that because I wanted to do both of the fights. My team is the one that talked me out of it. I was up here making sense, and they're like, yeah, that's right. And that was with my coaches, the conversation with my coaches. I'm like, I could do this fight, I can get this one out of the way. Then I'm lined up right here. My manager, and everybody else, they're like, hey, this is a world opportunity, the opportunity of a lifetime. You fight for a world title. So we're pulling out. You're going to get back to camp and get this belt. So, I guess after a while it sank in and it started to make sense. And I said, hey, whatever, let's just do it. Because, anything could happen. You could get cut or some headbutt, any kind of crazy stuff that could have pulled me out of this fight. But I guarantee, I was going to knock Dom out. That's automatic. You know what I mean? He already, we know each other. I would have knocked him out for sure.
You're talking about Breazeale,
Yeah, Dominic Breazeale, I would have knocked him out.
When you did make that decision to withdraw from the fight, did you stay straight through in camp? Did you at least take a couple of days off? Did you do anything over the holidays, or did you just basically stay in camp and just work all the way through it?
Yeah, I took a week off. I took that week off, and then we got back to camp. I started back training when I was in L.A. I live in North Hollywood, so we have a gym right there. These guys, they sponsor me, and I got a gym right there. Me and my coaches got in there, and we're hitting pads, and we're doing workouts, doing pull-ups, push-ups, calisthenic type of movements. And then we got right back up here into the high altitude, man. We're in Big Bear right now. We've been here for a few weeks now, a week or two, or a week and a half, whatever. I don't know for sure, exactly, but we've been up here grinding, man. We getting it in. I'm perfect shape. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life, and I'm ready to fight.
Well, I want to ask you about that then, because Glazkov's obviously been a good fighter for a while. He has the Olympic medal in his background, has a big-time amateur career. But to be nice, he's had a couple of decisions against good fighters, Cunningham specifically, also maybe Derek Rossi, perhaps the draw against Malik Scott, where many, many people thought that those three guys beat him. And, for whatever reason, the judges liked his way of doing things. He got the win. Good for him. But I'm wondering, when you look at the record and you see that, does it make you think to yourself, boy, I better really get rid of this guy because I cannot leave it in the hands of the judges. This guy's been awfully lucky to some people, and I need to take him out of there.
Oh man, I don't really even look. I don't even focus on. I don't even take the time to think about those kind of things because he's never been in the ring with a fighter like me. I'm no Cunningham. I'm no, Tor Hamer. I'm none of these guys that he fought. Malik Scott. Even Malik Scott beat him supposedly, but I ain't even know Malik Scott. So I'm a totally different fighter than he's ever seen. And come fight night, I'm ready to prove it to the whole entire world. I'm ready to be that superstar. We train like superstars. If you're gonna train mediocre, you'll be mediocre, and that's what I see out of a lot of fighters, heavyweights especially. But we train to be superstars, and that's what you guys are gonna see.
Charles, thank you very much. Good luck to you next week, and I'll see you up in New York. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Hey, likewise. Thank you.
Next question.
Our next question comes from Josh Katzowitz, Forbes. Go ahead.
How you doing, man?
Hey, Josh.
Hey, for the last 10, 11 years, I guess if it was a heavyweight, if you wanted to be the champion, you're probably going to have to go through Vladimir Klitschko to do it. And now, after I just wonder for a heavyweight, now that Klitschko's kind of been vanquished, does that change, I guess, the reality of the entire heavyweight division from your perspective? As you become a champion, well, I don't do Klitschko anymore. Has everything kind of changed, I guess, the mindset for a fighter like yourself?
Is that for Charles?
Excuse me?
Who was that question for, Josh?
Sorry, that was for Charles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
The question was, with Klitschko now losing to Fury and the dominance in the division disappearing, how does this change, how a heavyweight like you views the division, and what is it? Where do you see the future going? Based upon Klitschko's new position in the division. And actually, with Charles, when you finish with your answer, we'll have Tsar Glazkov answer the same question. But go ahead, Charles.
I just see it. It was going to open up eventually. Klitschko had a very good run. His whole career, was outstanding. He's an awesome fighter. And but it's our time now. It's new fighters on the map. We had plans. We had big plans of knocking him out as well. We wanted to, knock him out and become superstars overnight. Everybody got the dream. So, I mean, it's here now, man. I get to fight for the IBF World title, man. I can't believe it. Every day I wake up, I gotta think it like I'm freaking blessed, man. I'm fighting for a world title. This is crazy. Sometimes it don't even sound right, but it's real. So I'm gonna seize the moment, man. Definitely.
Igis?
Славик, вопрос пришел от репортера. Когда вот столько много лет Кличко, они держали всю полную тяжеловесов, вот это все. То есть вопрос такой, как ты видишь будущее тяжелого веса боксеров?
Сейчас тяжелый вес оживится, пояса пошли по разным претендентам, пояса не держит один человек, и, соответственно, это вызывает больше интерес у публики и больше ажиотаж. То есть оживление произойдет в супертяжелом весе, это однозначно.
Well, I think right now heavyweight division is going to be very interesting because all the titles getting split around is going to be becoming more champions, and that's what the fan always likes it. And because it's for so many years it was called by one person, which is two person, but you can count like a one person, Klitschko. So he says he's looking forward to see what is going to be happening and changing in the heavyweight division.
Thank you, Igis. And I think that's what everybody's waiting to see, and I think that's what makes this show on January 16th at the Barclays Center so exciting. Tickets are available through Ticketmaster.com, at the Barclays Center box office, or through BarclaysCenter.com. And we'll go on to the next question.
Our next question comes from Tommy Dees, the Tuscaloosa News. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. This is for both fighters. I just want to know, one of you, unless there's a draw, wins this title next weekend. Are you anxious to unify with either the WBC champion or with Tyson Fury if he keeps it, whoever holds the other belts?
You first.
Why don't we start with Egis on this one, with Star on this one.
Славик, вопрос такой, что если кто-то из вас выиграет вот этот титул, или там, надеемся, он говорит, надеемся, что не будет ничья, если выиграет кто-то титул, у тебя есть интерес как бы дальше соединить титулы там или WBC, или там WBA, WBO?
Да, однозначно есть. Это моя основная цель — собрать все титулы. И настоящий чемпион — это чемпион, который владеет всеми поясами. Поэтому это моя основная цель.
Yes, of course, this is probably dream of every fighter, to get the whole titles, because I truly believe that the real champion is who's holding all the 4 titles.
Charles?
Yeah, I want it all. Soon as I get this belt, I want to unify. I want everything. I want all the hardware. So, look out for Prince Charles Martin. I'm here to make a statement, and you guys are going to see finally. I've been under wraps for a long time now, but now the world can see me display my skill, and I can't wait to unify. I want everything.
Last question, guys.
Our last question comes from Mike Woods. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the time. I do appreciate it. This question is for Prince Charles. Charles, is it fair to say, do you think, that Glazkov is a pretty decent step up in competition on paper from who else you've fought? And I'd like your technical assessment of him as a boxer and what you think he brings to the table.
Yeah, he's definitely a step up, on paper. That's, his resume reads well. And he's a good fighter, he's technical, keeping his hands up and stuff like that. Has a pretty nice hook, he has a pretty nice hook or something like that. And but I got to give you the ups and the downs. He's a little guy. I'm massive. Strong, powerful, elusive. He's definitely gonna be in there for the hardest fight of his life that he'll ever have.
And then I posed the question to Czar. Czar, you heard what Charles said. He called you a little guy. I'd like your reaction to that and your reaction to and what you think of Martin technically. Have you seen tape on him? What do you think of him as a fighter?
Славик, вопрос тебе. Что ты думаешь про Чарльза Мартина как боксера?
Уважаю каждого своего соперника как боксера, потому что все, кто выходит в ринг, это уже большой подвиг совершает. А как о боксере могу сказать, что большой парень, левша, посмотрели пару его боев, готовимся персонально под него. Что сказать? Нестандартный, неудобный, но мы подбираем ключики на тренировку.
First of all, I wanted to say I respect all of my opponents, that anybody who is stepping in the ring, it's already doing a very big job. As far as a boxer, what can I say? He's a big dude. He's a southpaw. I saw a couple of his videos. He's not a standard guy. He's not a comfortable guy. But that's what I'm picking up my sparring partners, and that's what I'm working, especially preparing to fight him.
Charles has said he's gunning for the knockout, and basically says he's going to get it. Czar, what about you? What's your prediction for this fight?
What's the prediction? You asking Czar what his prediction for the fight?
I guess, what is his prediction for the fight?
Славик, он говорит, что он тебя нокаутирует. И спрашивает, а как ты думаешь, как бой закончится?
Я на нокаут настраиваться не буду, я буду показывать свою работу, хороший, красивый бокс, а нокаут придет сам собой.
I'm not going to be saying I'm going to knock him out. I'm not going to be aiming to knock him out. I'm just going to fighting and showing to everybody a good skills, good boxing, and if it's a knockout going to come, it's going to come.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Thanks. Appreciate it. Be well.
Well, thank you, Charles Martin. Thank you, Czar Glazkov. Thank you, Igis. And,
thank you.
I look forward to seeing you guys next week in Brooklyn. And
likewise.
This is a hugely significant fight in the heavyweight division. There's a belt at stake. There's an Olympic medalist fighting an massive American heavyweight, as Charles accurately described himself, and also extremely charismatic and English-speaking American heavyweight. That would this fight can bring a major new player to the forefront in the heavyweight division. So it's a very significant fight. I thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week.